Hi everybody, wanted to kind of make a quick video to show you guys something. I heard from one of you in your class that the teacher last year, Miss Montiel, was teaching the same change kind of method when you're subtracting. So for example, if you had, let's go -3 minus 4, something like this here, the SCC, I think is how you guys kind of learned it. Again, it is going to be the same thing as adding the inverse. I'm going to be saying a lot adding the inverse. This is the, I guess the proper mathematical kind of terminology with it is adding the inverse. Now, there's nothing wrong with learning quick little sayings and things to kind of help you remind yourself, get through. But one thing as we move further along in mathematics and in math and just in school as in general, we want to make sure that we're knowing the proper terminology when it's being used. Like if there's something, if it was maybe another teacher or you're taking some sort of a SAT or a big like kind of state exam or a nation, something that everybody's doing like the SATs to kind of get into college, and they say something or it has any sort of terminology that you're not used to, I'm trying to make sure that moving now and then for the rest of high school that we're using the proper terminology. All right, there's nothing wrong with this here. If you know this and you remember this, same as less than or greater than signs. Okay, you guys, this is something that we'll kind of get into this year coming up, but less than, greater than. Okay, most of the time people, you just see as, oh, well, that's the alligator, so I know that 3 is less than 4, so the alligator goes this way. Well, we need to know the terminology, less than, greater than. So if I tell you to write something, 3 is less than 4, or X is greater than 5, you need to know what greater than is by me saying it. So just things like that. So for example, let me get rid of that. I was kind of on a side note. So up here, same, change. So this is like the first term, you keep the same. And then you change your sign, going by SCC, right? Change your sign, and then you change this one here. So you are going to make it a -4. Okay, this is the exact same thing as adding the inverse. Remember, I said you keep the first term, your add, so your subtraction becomes addition, and then the inverse of +4 is -4. So it's the same thing as same, change. So those of you who are like, wait, we learned a different way, it's not different. It is the same. Some of you might have caught on to that. I had one of you or two of you reach out to me and saying that you learned this method. It's the same method, it's just different terminology. So I just want to kind of confirm with you guys or anybody who might have been wondering what's the difference or what's going on. It's the same thing. Okay? So same, change is the same as adding the inverse. Now, however, for example, this problem here with what we're learning, you don't need to do same, change here. Okay, we talked about same signs add, different signs subtract. This one here, you don't have to change anything. Just look at the signs in front. This is a 3, this is a 4. They're both negative. The signs in front are a minus. So this would be same signs add. And then you keep the sign, and it becomes a -7. If you use the same change, that's fine. You have -3 plus -4. Again, they're both still negative. It's still same signs add, and you keep the sign. Okay, where it will help the most, I think the same change would be a problem. We'll keep the same numbers. Let's go -3 minus -4. Right here, when you see the two minus signs, the whole red flag we talked about in the other videos, this is the time when you want to think of same, change. Okay, same, and then you want to change this or add, right? Add the inverse. So because we can't do anything with this one right now. We have to get it to an addition problem or when there's only one sign. We really only want one sign. Okay, even here, that's two signs. It can get kind of confusing. So I prefer us just to have one sign. So here's two signs. We need to make those two into one. So this is where the same, change or adding the inverse will come into play. You keep that the same. You change, right? Or you add the inverse. What's the inverse or the opposite of -4? +4. Okay? Or you change. Same, change. You guys hopefully see what I'm saying. Okay? Now we have only one sign. Now you can look at it. These are different, right? You have a positive, you have a negative. Different signs subtract. Take the sign from the larger number. 4 is positive, so 1 is positive, and there's our answers. Don't forget, box or circle your answers as you go. I've got a lot of work from most of you. You're doing great. Keep it up, and we'll get through the summer just fine. If you guys have any questions, remember, let me know. Email me. I'll get back to you on my office hours. Yeah, you guys are doing great. Keep it up. See you later.